Rounding decimals, discover. Here we have Mo, and he says the amount of sugar is close to 7 grams than 6 grams. If I round it to the nearest whole number, there is 1 gram of salt. Now, if we look in this bubble here, you can see it tells you how much fat, how much of that fat is saturates, tells you how much sugar there is, but we can't see how much salt there is. Okay, so here's the question, 1A. Round the amount of sugar to the nearest whole number. Is Mo correct? And question 1B, what is the smallest amount of salt to 1 decimal place? Question A, there are 6.8 grams of sugar in the cereal, and we can see it there on the number line. Now, the nearest whole numbers, okay, we can round up to 7, or we can round down to 6. Now, we said that there's that rule that if it ends in a 5, so 6.5, we always round the 5 up, because it's 5/10 to go up, and 5/10 to go down, because 6.5 is the equivalent to 6.5. So it's the same distance from 6 and 7. But the rule is that if it ends in a 5, we always round up. So 8/10 is 5 or more. So 6.8 rounded to the nearest whole number is 7. And we can see there we're just going up 2/10 to get to 7. And we'd have to round down 8/10 to get down to 6. So it is nearer to 7. So rounding to the nearest whole number, we would round up to 7. Now, question B, I thought was quite difficult. Okay, so the question was, what is the smallest possible amount of salt to 1 decimal place? And Mo said, if I round it to the nearest whole number, there is 1 gram of salt. So here we have the 1. Okay, on the number line. To find the smallest possible amount of salt, you'll need to look at the numbers below 1. Because remember, some of these numbers higher also round to 1. But we are looking at the lowest number. To round to the nearest whole number, you need to look at the tenths, which are 5 or more, because we round all the numbers that end in 5 or more up, and they would round up to 1. So the smallest possible amount of salt is 0.5 grams, and we can see that there. If we went lower, 0.4, that would round down, okay, and not up. Think together. Question 1A. Work out the missing numbers in the sentences. Question 1B. 12.5 is between what and what? So let's look at the answers. Now 4.2, what are the whole numbers between 4.2? Well, if we round down, that would round down to a 4. If we rounded up, that would round up to 5. So 4.2 is in between 4 and 5. Okay, so now we need to find out what is the nearest whole number or integer. So if we round down, it would be 1, 2/10 to round down. If we round up, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8/10. So you can see that 4 is much nearer to 4.2 than 5. So look at the question. 4.2 rounded to the nearest whole number is 4. Question 1B. 12.5 is between what and what? Well, the whole numbers, 12.5 would be between 12 and 13. Now remember that rule that we said about the 0.5. We always round up. So 12.5 rounded to the nearest whole number is 13. Question 2. Jamelia says if she rounds all these numbers to the nearest whole number, they all round to 8. Is Jamelia correct? Explain your answer. So let's look at the answer. The numbers that Jamelia has are 7.5, 8.5, 8.1, 7.7, and 7.9. So let's put them on this number line down below. And this number line is got 7, 8, 9. Those are the whole numbers. So let's have a look where these decimal numbers go. 7.5. Now, Jamelia says they all round to 8. So there's that rule again, 7.5. Do we round that up or do we round it down? We round it up, yes. So 7.5 is a number that you would round to 8. 8.5, I'm going to leave that one for this moment because I'm going to go to the next one, 8.1. 8.1, would we round that down to 8 or would we round it up to 9? Which is the nearest whole number? Yes, we'd round that one down to 8 because it's only 1/10 away. Let's look at the next number, 7.7. We're putting that on our number line, and we can even count up 7.1, 7.2, 7.3, 7.4, 7.5, 7.6, 7.7. What is the nearest whole number? Do we round it up to 8 or do we round it all the way back down to 7? Yes, we round it up to 8 because it's only 3/10 away from 8. And then let's look at 7.9. Are we going to round that number up to 8 or down to 7? Yes, we're going to round it up to 8. So let's have a look at that number that I missed out. It's 8.5. Now 8.5 is 5/10 away from 8. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So it's 5/10 away. But it's also 5/10 away from 9. 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, 0.4, 0.5. So it's the same distance because 8.5 is equal to 8.5. So it's the same distance from 8 and to 9. But what's that rule again? If it ends in a 5, we round up to the next whole number. So that would round up to 9. So unfortunately, Jamelia was nearly completely correct with all the numbers, but she was wrong with just one, 8.5. And if you finished all the work in your book now, here's a final challenge for you. And remember, the answers to all the questions in your book and to this challenge are at the end of the video.